I know that sounds really exciting, but so that bit's going to take like literally 30 seconds. I thought what might be useful is just kind of addressing why we're so excited to be sponsoring and partnering, which is exclusive new. We're thrilled to be partnering with Southeast Angels. And I'll talk through what that means in a minute. But my personal journey was predominantly kind of entrepreneurship and founding a few businesses. So the first one was in 2009 in that lovely world of recruitment that everyone's so fond of and thinks of in such a high regard. However, that did release a little bit of capital, which meant that I could go on to co-found a technology business in 2012 that's called ProFinder. That's still in the market today. But that business was built because of the angels. We many a time in the early years before we did our VC round where we almost insolvent and begging for a 50 grand, 25 grand check to go around, but we believed in the idea, we believed in the concept, and genuinely without the angels then, the business wouldn't be what it is today, and it's now 100 people around the world doing about 10, 50 million a year, 10 or 15, depends which VC I'm talking to. But it's an exciting business, you should invest. And then I left when it wasn't going so well after raising the first 10 million to do some other corporate stuff. And then I was fortunate enough again, I've killed a minute here. I was fortunate enough again to go back into the startup world and join what would now be called generative AI. Had it been called generative AI, I think I'd definitely be in the crowd and not working still, because we did get an exit, but not to the lofty heights of some of the exits now. But that was a story of fortune as well, because predominantly raised on angel investment pre-seed, did about 2 million there before Hamburg Perks came in to take a larger check. And once we got a good return, we went from pre-seed to sale to revenue in 2 years and got a 10x return on what we did. But it's because COVID happened and we were doing automation. So without COVID, I'm one of the few people that was very pleased it came for two reasons. One, I had my first son, so I got to see him all the time. And secondly, we got to sell a business in COVID completely virtually in a bedroom in Wandsworth, which was a pretty cool experience. Right, but why am I here today? So I think what we've probably noticed over the years as cloud has exploded, it's allowing businesses to exist that couldn't exist 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. And a few mentions of AI today, but we're not far away from the first solo founder probably building a massive business using some kind of generative AI to enable that. And what we want to do though is help, how can we firm up and support the founders of these businesses? So you've got investment from angels, the ability to put capital into these businesses, but we need more than that. So at Google Cloud, we're proud to be partnering with the likes of Southeast Angels to say, how can we help the investments that you make as part of this syndicate be more successful and create frameworks around them that will hopefully allow them to be the best versions of themselves. What that really means is some of the stuff you'd expect, so credit programs, so there's no cost to the business in the early days, access to discounts on various product sets, so workspace, all the stuff you'd hope and expect. But then going one step further, which is where do we have gifts in our wheelhouse that is easy for us to give? So we're Alphabet Group. We, at some point somewhere, we probably touch your business or your personal life, and therefore we have access to channel. And our role really is to try and help us understand how can we help a business grow, because as they grow, we grow with them. So we're looking at dedicated success managers that will work with the businesses. The 24 in the portfolio of Southeast Angels, as an example, will get a dedicated success manager, should they just use Google Cloud, which of course they will. We'll then work with them to understand, do we have clients they could work with? How do we make those introductions? And how do we take them onto marketplace and sell with them? And then we have the network of people that we have across Alphabet Group. And whilst obviously we'd be conflicted out to take equity seats as non-execs, there's so much interest in the startup scene for folk that work here who have maybe been ex-entrepreneurs or future entrepreneurs, and we're now allowed to kind of match those folk to companies and allow them to be advisors, to work with them kind of in non-equity roles to help support the growth of it. So think of us as a mini incubator to help support the various stages of growth, and that's really what we're here to do today. So I've kept pretty good timing, actually. I speak incredibly quickly. I've had a lot of coffee, and both my kids were up all night last night, so hence the caffeine. But I'm thrilled to say we're partnering with Southeast Angels. It's a privilege to be here today, and I hope you have a great afternoon.